So here's a question that's been sent to me. A student wants to know how to answer this. That's called the midpoint to answer the first question A for this. This is a line, it's a line segment, and you're trying to find exactly where the middle of that line segment is. So just maybe, let's look at where everything is. So 3 and 1. So this is my point A, which is 3 and 1. And then my point B is at 5 and 7. So it's right there. So this is B at 5 and 7. And this is A at 3 and 1. And this is my line segment right here. So I'm just gonna put a line right there between these 2 points. So now what you're trying to do is find where the middle is of this line. To be able to do that, I have an equation. In math, we need tools. Like if you're fixing a car, you need tools. So for everything, you need tools to be able to solve things or fix things. Now, my first equation is the midpoint. So my midpoint, and I'm gonna call that MP. My midpoint equals, and I'm just gonna apply everything in this equation from here to find out what the midpoint is. So what you do, you go to your first point, make it x1, y1, and then your second point, make it x2, y2. And then all you have to do is just sub in straight into the equation here. So we have x1 plus x2, that's 3 plus 5 divided by 2. And then we have y1 plus y2, which is 1 plus 7 divided by 2. And that equals 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then the same thing, 1 plus 7 is 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my midpoint is right at 4 and 4, which is right there. So that's where my midpoint is. So that answers the question for A. And then find the gradient of AB. So the gradient is just another word for slope. A gradient is the same as slope. And we have this equation here that says the slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm just gonna go here and go y2 minus y1 over x2, which is 5, minus y1 minus x1, sorry, which is 3. So 7 minus 1 is 6, and 5 minus 3 is 2. That gives me 3 for the slope. Now C, they say, and hence state the gradient of the perpendicular bisector. So state the slope of the perpendicular bisector. So you must know that if you have two perpendicular lines, their slopes will be the negative reciprocal of each other. So reciprocal, if the slope here is 3 over 1, the reciprocal would be 1 over 3. So it just means flip this fraction. That's called the reciprocal. And since the slope of the perpendicular bisector, so this is just for a bisector, would equal, all you need to do again, just is the negative reciprocal of this number. So the reciprocal is 1/3, and then it's negative, so it's negative 1/3. Now D. Find the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So they want the line that goes through here. What's the line that goes through here? What's the equation of that? So just let's look at, if I know the slope of the perpendicular bisector, I could start doing the slope from here to draw a little bit of a line. So the slope again is rise over run. That's what the slope is. So 1 is my rise and 3 is my run. Now, because the slope is negative, always know that your line should be going down and not going up as you go from right to left. So therefore, if I want to draw a few points from my midpoint, which is at 4 and 4, if I want to draw the slope from there, so I just go down 1 over 1, 2, 3 this way, or I go up 1 over 1, 2, 3 that way. And then I could keep on doing that, up 1 over 1, 2, 3 that way. And this way I know I have, and now I have points. I could draw my perpendicular bisector if I want. So here's your perpendicular bisector. The thing is, sometimes it's good to visualize what's happening when you're answering things. Now, what they're asking you to find the equation of this line in the slope intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And therefore, for D, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write y equals m, which is the slope of the perpendicular bisector, which is negative 1/3 x plus b. Now, for the equation in the slope y-intercept form, you always have to find the slope and find the y-intercept. So b here is the y-intercept, and m is the slope. Just for some of you who haven't seen this equation before. So now I have the slope. I want to find the y-intercept. If I want to find the y-intercept on any line, if I'm given the slope, I just need a point on that line. So I need a point on this line right here, the perpendicular bisector, which is at 90 degrees. So we have a point right here, which is 4 and 4. So I'm going to use 4 and 4 to find out what b is. And therefore, this is x, this is y. I'm going to sub in 4 for y equals negative 1/3, and x is 4 as well, plus b. Now, 4 equals, when you have a number times a fraction, all you need to do is just multiply it to the top. You don't multiply it to the bottom. And if it reduces with the bottom of the fraction, then you could reduce and simplify. Always it's better to simplify before you multiply the whole number to the top. This doesn't reduce, so just go ahead and multiply the 4 to the top. 4 times 1 is 4, and the 3 stays as a 3, plus b. Now, moving the 4/3 to the other side, so 4, when you move this to the other side, changes plus 4/3 equals b. And therefore, this is over 1, and the common denominator is 3, so I'm going to multiply this by 3, this by 3, which gives me b equals 12 plus 4 all over 3, which is 16 over 3. And therefore, my equation of the perpendicular bisector will be y equals negative 1/3 x plus 16 over 3. And that is my final answers. Also, to just define the perpendicular bisector is a line that divides the given line into 2 equal segments. And it does that at 90 degrees. That's why it's called perpendicular. I hope this helps you see how you solve this question. It's a question full of things. For the person who sent me this, I hope this helps you. And it helps a lot of students understand how this works. Thank you for watching. As always, math is like a puzzle, and puzzles are fun to solve.